disappeared along with her. They said she'd received a letter and a phone call about an inheritance. They couldn't remember who'd called her, who the letter was from, or who they met when they arrived at the office. Michael thought it was odd, but it was proof of nothing. "I cannot say much on the phone," Green continued. "You must come to the office on West 22nd. I will explain everything there." He gave Michael the address and hung up. This had to have something to do with the Lancaster girl. It was the same M.O., just a different address. She got a call to go uptown to pick up an object that had been left to her. What was the object left to him? Now he had to go find out. He wasn't that far away. He headed toward the bathroom, leaving the coffee. He'd pick up some on the way. 10 minutes later, he exited the bathroom, soaking wet, with a yellow towel wrapped around his waist. He still didn't feel clean. He never did. He never would. Jimmy Clements was 22 when he was gunned down by a perp robbing a bodega. Michael, Clements's partner, killed the shooter, only to find out later he was a 16-year-old kid. It busted him up and broke him down. A kid. There were days he couldn't deal with it. Days when he was close to putting bullets in the gun. He wished he hadn't shot it that night. He missed Clements. Jimmy was more than just his work partner. He was Michael's closest friend, his brother, together every day for 2 years. Michael pulled on a fresh pair of boxer briefs. These were a little tighter. He was gaining weight. There was a bit more meat around the muscle. He'd stopped caring about staying in shape. For what? So he could chase people down? He found a bottle of whiskey with a mouthful left in the bottle and guzzled it down. He dressed in black jeans and a black short-sleeved tee that hugged his long tattooed torso. On his feet, he wore white socks and beat-up black leather combat boots. He clipped his badge to his belt and snapped a magazine into his empty gun. One day, one morning, it wouldn't be empty, but he put that thought behind him for now. He wasn't worried about going to this address alone. It's how he did things nowadays. If he couldn't protect himself, then so be it. Whether he died at his own hand or someone else's didn't matter. But his instincts wouldn't let him walk into a spray of bullets. They made him fight back. He'd be fine. He threw on a leather bomber jacket to conceal his gun, slipped his phone into the back pocket of his jeans, and walked out the door to his apartment. Should he walk the 2 extra blocks to the garage to get his car, or walk the 6 blocks to 22nd? He should walk. He needed the exercise. He'd come back later for his car, and stop at a liquor store for some whiskey. The thought of it comforted him. He thought about the cases he had to see to today. Files sitting on his desk waiting for him. Why was he strolling up the street on his way to some address a guy on the phone gave him? He should have taken the car. Why didn't he? He wasn't thinking right. Now he had to walk there and back. He shook his head at himself. Clements had been buried by his family upstate. Everyone from the precinct had been there. Michael had been a pallbearer. Everyone had been kind and considerate to his family and to him. They asked him if he was okay. He smiled and said yes, and they left it alone. But he hadn't been okay. First his brother, Jeffrey, rushing into the first tower on 9/11, and then Clements. It had taken him a while to get used to having another partner, and a woman partner at that. He wasn't any chauvinist who thought women shouldn't be cops. If she wanted to, let her do it. It was just hard for him to get used to being around a woman, the same woman, every day. But Kelly Harkin had been easy to get along with. She was married with a kid. She'd transferred from the 26th precinct after her partner had been killed. They had a lot in common. She was capable and tough as nails. They remained partners for another 2 years, before she died in his arms, shot by a son of a bitch who'd shot some neighborhood kids. The ghosts haunted him. He'd seen a therapist twice a week for 3 months. Did nothing. He made detective by some miracle. At first it was good, but it didn't take too long to discover his third partner, Langsley Hicks, was taking bribes. Hicks was caught after a year.